Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all fairy tale creatures of the forest, welcome to another video. A series, actually. A series that I've been considering, pondering for quite some time. How I wanted to do it, where I was going to go, what I was going to title it. Just, what the heck am I doing with my life? Well, here we are. I'm starting a weekly series here where I'm going to be taking you guys all along so you can see the highs and the lows. That is the sport of running and just training and getting into shape, taking care of my body, and seeing where things can go. And I think this will be really encouraging, not hopefully for you, but also for me, because maybe 6 months from now, a couple weeks from now, a year from now, I can look back and be like, this is where I started. It wasn't too good, but here I am. I'm basically starting from zero right now. I just want to say a couple more things before we get into it. I started training about 3 weeks ago after taking basically from the last week of January all the way through most of May. I am very much not into shape, but a lot of it, over the years, it comes back to me pretty quickly, which I'm fortunate of, but I also had to work to get to that point. I put in tens of thousands of miles in my life, but I feel like I have nothing to show for it. So hopefully this journey will take us to some places that I never thought I could go and make me feel like all of the time that I've spent in this sport, it was worth it. If you're excited, give it a big fat thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be doing this every week. If I miss a week, I'm sorry. I'm going to try my best. And I think the way it's going to go, I'm going to try and get this up every single Monday. Trying to do it every Sunday because, I train on Sundays, I go to work on Sundays, and then I'd have to edit, upload the video. I don't think Sunday would be a very consistent day to do it. I'm here! So, let's get started. On Monday, I got out there on the trails and off to the greatest start already. I spent like 20 minutes looking for the footage. I guess I definitely recorded, but I must have deleted it. So the first run of the week, I have no footage, but it was a nice, easy 6.5 miles at Settlers Cabin Park with my good friend and boss, Chris. We are training for some ultras, just trail races going forward, so it was nice to get out there. I went out there in the New Balance Hieros. I have no idea what version this is. I'm falling behind, but it's a good shoe. It was very muddy, and I was also definitely really sore because the day before that I was at the park and I ran 10 miles of single track, which was no easy feat. The next day I had actually planned to take off completely from running and just everything because after going from nothing to something, I'd basically been training every day running-wise for a week, and that's pretty startling for the body, so I'm like, let's just take a day off. Then we just got to the midpoint of the day, and I'm like, it's actually pretty nice out, and I feel like doing something, so I hopped on my bike, and I went for 12 miles, nothing crazy, just kind of took in the sights, and yeah, just spun the legs. It was nice. Another thing, too, the night before that, I had done something, I'd like cracked my neck wrong, and I was in like really, really bad pain to the point where when I was riding the bike, I like to periodically check behind me to make sure no one's coming up on me, and I couldn't like turn my neck to look. It was really concerning, but then after like 48 hours it passed back to normalcy, which was good. On Wednesday I went out for another run, this time in a plated shoe, the Hyperion Max 2. I got these for free last year from Courtney, our Brooks rep, and I really like these. I can go on and on about how I feel about certain brands. If you watch this channel, you probably know I like Brooks a lot, so it's very rare for me to say something negative about them. I just felt like taking a plated shoe out for no reason at all. I'm just like, I haven't worn this shoe in a while, and I try to, keep a nice rotation going so the foam in the shoes has a chance to rejuvenate and just keep things fresh, and little things like that can help prevent injury in the long term. I felt good for maybe the first mile or two, and then I sort of fatigued, but I just, hung on at a nice, respectable pace. Mile 1, plated shoes are amazing, dude. Anytime someone comes into the shop and they're like, so what's the deal with these carbon plates? I tell them, they're the real deal. If you want to go faster with less effort, get yourself a pair. Put down a car payment in exchange for a PR in the 5K. I can't tell you the last time I even ran with a plated shoe though. I can tell it's much harder on my feet. It's just, it's a spring, god damn it. Slowing down a little bit though. We're coming up to 3 miles. We're still doing all right pace-wise. I'm tired for some reason. My legs are feeling it this morning. It just sort of started hitting me around mile 2. 4 miles, gonna head back now. Other than that 10-mile long run I did last Sunday, this is the longest run I've done since I came back. Been doing a lot of 5s and 7s. As I'm trying to get back into shape, I really only have one gear. So periodically you're gonna see me do this before I start getting into workouts. I'll just throw in like a little bit of a tempo, like a sub-6 effort, something to really get the blood flowing, something that hurts but it's not so over the top that I'm getting like a VO2 max workout and I need to take like a day off, that sort of deal. About to hit 5 miles here and I'm gonna try and go sub-6 on this one just to teach myself to pick it up. Change gears, here we go. I'd be happy with a 5:59 or 3:59 if we're feeling lucky. This is gonna be weird. Not bad. Not bad. That was a lot harder than I'd like it to be though. Also, another thing that I did when I was at work, for whatever reason, I was walking around in just socks, and in that moment, I also conveniently decided to crush my right foot off of this like industrial doorstop by the bathroom, and I'm not certain yet. It doesn't really hurt too much. Honestly, not at all right now, but it's definitely still swollen a few days later, which is a little concerning, but I'm 70% sure I broke another toe, and boys are having fun over there, so ignore that. I broke my pinky toe on my right foot back in early March, and that still swells. It doesn't hurt anymore, but I'm still keeping an eye on it. It's swollen right now, and it's just how hilarious. The toe right next to it now that I had buddy taped it to for so long also might be broken. I also got a nice stretch in, which was really nice. I really needed that. I need to do it more often. Thursday, was back at it again with Chris. This time I did record. I wore the Saucony Peregrine 15s, and would you believe it if I told you these only have like 15 miles on them at the most? I just torched these things in one run. It was really muddy. That was the theme of the first half of this week, and honestly the back half of this week. It's been raining so much here, and when it's not raining, it's super humid and super hot. We've got like wildfires in Canada that are starting to, you know, bring their smoke over here, so there's like a nice little haze on the horizon. It's making it a little difficult to breathe. I definitely feel it, but it's not so bad to the point where it's affecting anything. We're off. We're gonna do the same loop as, what was it, Tuesday? Starting to feel like summer out here, man. It's like, what is it, 70 degrees probably? Getting real warm real fast. 2 weeks ago or whatever, on Memorial Day, that wasn't even a week ago, it was apparently the coldest we've had in 100 years in Pittsburgh. Not anymore. It's warming up. Heading back into the woods now. We just traversed one of the worst hills in the park. It feels like we gained more elevation in feet in a quarter mile than a quarter mile has feet of elevation to give. Moving. Chris and I definitely started to struggle as the heat came on. He even took a little tumble. Sorry, Chris, if you're watching this, but I'm going to tell the fans. Another thing that I did, I made a conscious effort. Normally when I'm on single track and the hills are just like really steep, I just walk them. No ego involved, no point in running them really. But this time I decided to keep that sort of runner's cadence. It was like a shuffle where it was so slow that I would have just been moving faster if I was walking, like hands on my knees, leaning into it, that sort of thing. But I just wanted to kind of keep the heart rate at a steadier level, and I just felt like that's a better way to train at the moment. Good work, Chris.
Kaboom.
Here we go. Just a little bit slower than the other day, but not too bad. Our first few miles were probably quicker though. Great heat training though. So 6.5 in the morning, and then later in the day went out for my first double in forever. Took out the New Balance 880 V15s. And then at the end, it was nice. Maddie was walking Walter out as I was coming in, and then I took Walter, and then I ran home with him, and then I got crashed, and then we went for like a 2-mile walk. It was real nice. On Friday, I did a much-needed lift. Believe it or not, I've been doing really well with lifting up until like 3 weeks ago when I started running again. I find whenever I start running more, I lift less. Not because I want to, but because... No, well, definitely because I want to, because I get lazy about it. Weeks ago, I was doing it like 2 to 3 times a week, which was really good for me. I was definitely getting stronger. I did squats, I did some bench press, I did some RDLs, which I felt the next day, the squats too, and rows, that sort of deal. And of course, some like little exercises for my knees, because last year I had a pretty serious knee thing going on. And also, don't give me shit for my form. I'm trying, all right? I'm not perfect. Unless you want me to be. So yeah, here we are in a later part of the day. It's time to go run. Just a standard 8-mile run. 8 miles is the standard again. What fun. So which means I'm running, when I am running, at least an hour a day. Don't you love to see it? I wore the tried and true Asics Gel Nimbus 27s. Gosh, that's a good shoe. Man, it is really hard to go wrong with this shoe. If you hate on this shoe, what are you doing? It's a skill issue. Get better. You see that cloud right there? I'm looking into the camera right now. It's not really doing it justice. It's really dark. And I just heard thunder. Weather's not calling for any rain or thunderstorms until like 8 or 9 p.m. It's just coming up on 5. I'm not taking any chances. I'm gonna leave the camera here. So I'll see you in a bit. I'm at this point now, because it's been such a jarring, is this a word, reacclimation to the sport, going from 0 to 100 basically. I just feel tired most days, and I'll get past that eventually as the body just gets used to it. So I've been through this before. We made it. First shirtless run of the summer, but man, it was so humid. And there's like fleas in my eye, it hurts. It didn't rain. How the heck did it not rain? It was literally thundering the whole time. Yeah, I was feeling the lift earlier, but we got through it. Started off pretty slow and sluggish, and then honestly, towards the end we were feeling strong. Still didn't feel great. Saturday was just another standard 8-mile run before work. Took out the Brooks Glycerin 22s. Nothing much to note here, just kind of on par with the course for the last few days. Humid, hot, didn't feel great. Just got through it. I was happy with it. Starting off this morning's run with some hills, I guess. Even though I feel horrible, the lifts and the volume from the mileage recently, it's starting to take a toll. I'm just fatigued. Gonna run around the neighborhood a little bit because I want to get some hills in before I hit the trails. I have a good feeling the pace is gonna be rather slow. It's not my most impressive start. We're on the trail now, so it's gonna be flat for pretty much the whole run. Except for the end when I have to go up a really big hill, but we'll worry about that later, just like I do just about anything. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm feeling a little nostalgic right now. Bringing me back to the good old days. Don't you remember the road to Pittsburgh, the 4x4x48 challenge? I really haven't done this much the last few years. Maybe like here and there in my vlogs, which I hope you're enjoying. Never like a weekly series on training. No, it's been a long time. I'm really excited to see what this series looks like a year from now, even a month from now, just a couple episodes in. See what kind of fitness we're in, how we're doing. Maybe we want a race or two. 4 miles. We're loosening up a little bit, but still feel like shit. Definitely picking up the pace a little bit, but I'll be honest with you, we're running downhill. We've been running downhill for the last 2 miles. I've been thinking about something though, and I'm looking back to this time last year, comparing it to now. This time last year, I was running consistent 100-mile weeks, peaking at 124. It was crazy. Look how the mighty has fallen. But I was wondering, was that the most fit I've ever been? Because I look back to the year before that, when I was training for the Pittsburgh Marathon, and I don't know, man. Two different types of fitnesses though. Last year, training for an ultra, wasn't doing any intensity, it was just volume. I could run forever. But when I was training for Pittsburgh, I could run sub 520 pace for 20 miles. Honestly makes me very sad, because assuming I avoided a lot of major injuries, stayed consistent, obviously I didn't do that, I'd be on a good trajectory to break 220 at this point. Maybe even hit the Olympic standard, which dropped to 216. I don't know where I'd be. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, but could have been close. 8 miles this morning, and happy to say we finished with some dignity. And now here we are. It's Sunday. Long run. Long runs are starting to get long for me. I went out for 13 miles in the Brooks Glycerin Maxes. As you can see, they're nice and dirty. This is all from yesterday. As you can tell, it was a downpour for at least the first half of the run. I actually didn't mind it too much. I much prefer that over the humidity that we've been having. I mean, it was fine. It was a hilly run, especially for miles 5 through 7. That hurt, but I kept it at a nice, steady, quick pace for me right now, and I just wanted to make sure that I was slightly uncomfortable the whole run, but still comfortable enough to the point where I'm not breaking down, I'm not breathing heavy. I just, I'm teaching myself to run long and hard. It'll be interesting to see how those paces go down over time. Moving very well today, all things considered. Still is pretty difficult, but I think it's mostly just stress because 13 miles scares me right now. But that's our long run today. We're gonna enjoy it one way or another. We're also gonna enjoy this nice big fat downhill for the next mile and change. 10 miles, just a meager 3 miles to go. We got this. Still feeling smooth, but I'm definitely leaning into the pace a little bit to make it somewhat uncomfortable. In a few weeks, 13 miles should feel like nothing. It should just feel like an ordinary day, like a 7-mile run does right now. About to hit 11 miles here, and I'm gonna pick up the pace for this next mile. Go sub 6 again. I'm not gonna enjoy this. Here we go. Let's change gears again. Getting better. Still, that was a really difficult 5:36 though. 13 miles. Whew. Okay, that hurt, but really solid way to end the week. That's pretty much it. Let me see what my phone says here. It was a 54-mile week with 6 days of running, 1 double day, 1 bike day, 1 lift, a lot of stuff to improve on, but that's where we currently stand right now, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this whole thing, and like and subscribe. I'll see you later.